Festiie fam, the time is now. Festival goers unite. Welcome to the Festiie Files, where we highlight all the creatives, the creative energies, the beautiful people that bring the festival experience to life. Whether you are someone dancing in the crowd as if no one's watching, whether you're a vendor at the event, whether it's your first festival, or whether you're the person providing the grooves and the beats, we are all connected and we are all part of what makes this experience and this community so beautiful. My name is Desmond Beristain, and I am the CEO and founder of Festiie, the festival smart band. And today, this is awesome. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. We have music producer, literally a very busy producer. He just got back from Middlelands. We'll talk about that in a sec. Futuristic tropical house vibes, and it's also rumored that your guys' group brought sexy back to EDM. This is what I hear. They brought sexy back, everyone, with their Lorde and Pharell remixes. And I just mentioned Middlelands. It just got done playing at Middlelands, the live stream version, and they dropped a new song called Space featuring KOLE. Yeah. Right? That was, you opened with that. I was like, ooh, what's this from the jump? So much to say. Let's get right into it. We have Mikul Wing from Autograf. Autograf, thanks for joining the Festiie Files.
Yeah, so excited to be here with you.
Likewise. Let's talk about it. How was Middlelands doing the live stream and getting active? How was that?
I gotta get up for Insomniac. They have the best live stream production I think I've ever seen for DJs. And I've watched some of the previous ones before this one, and they change it up every week. It's like a different festival, and like the decor changes and everything changes. Even like walking into the place, like they have like this little like roped off green room area, so that they're like really about the distancing when you go there. So like you have like this little area that's like yours to sit in with like a big rope around it, but like even that area had like the knights set up and like a big dragon in there and stuff. So like you're just chilling there waiting for your chance to like, I don't know, go in to do the thing. So they really go out. Like no one even sees that but me, and they're like building this like area for me to hang out in. And it literally was just me there. So I'll give them like so much credit for the production value they do, and for staying conscious about everything going on right now in terms of
for sure. That was an epic set. And then just they get a nice lineup of artists, and that's cool that you mentioned it's not even just the set that's prepared. You're like, you walk in, you're like, oh wow, they went all the way with this.
Yeah, it was hosted, I think, where they do like a lot of their prop storage in their big warehouse or whatever. So like they have all the props there. So I think they just like, hey, let's set them up and like make this an experience even for the artists coming in. And I think it puts you in the mindset like, this is dope. Like I'm not just like waiting in like a sterile white room. It's like I feel like I'm in a green room for that festival basically before I go on. It gets you like mentally in that mindset to want to like get out there and do your thing.
Exactly. You just touched upon something. Well, first off, it is pretty amazing. Shouts out to Insomniac. Every single week, you're like switching up the vibes, which is great. And it's to our, some of our favorite festivals. But you just mentioned the energy, right? So right now, people are staying at home and they're looking to live streams. They're looking at, there's been a beautiful response from the electronic music community and very rapidly, right? So talk about that energy and kind of what have you been doing during these times to keep that energy up? Because as you mentioned, like once you feel that energy, even though we're not able to physically be around 100,000 people at a festival, talk about how that energy is still kind of around and how we're still able to tap into it.
Yeah, well, this is kind of weird, I think. First of all, I was nervous going into Middlelands to play that set. Whereas I played like Coachella and EDC, huge stages at those festivals. And I've never been nervous for like a set before. And for that set, I was a little bit nervous. And I think a lot of that had to do with just like, I knew it was just me in the room with like a couple other people and they're just filming it. And knowing how people are online, like the trolls and stuff, like just like got me worried a little bit about it. As opposed to like when you're at a festival, you're vibing off everybody else's energy and it's like this thing. So like I was a little bit nervous going into it. So that was kind of a different thing. But then I think once you get into it, it's just like you're doing your thing. The other weird thing is like I'm wearing gloves while I'm DJing, like rubber gloves, and I'm not used to that obviously, and my hands are sweating inside of them, and that's making me more nervous, thinking like, am I gonna like grab this knob and like I don't know, it's like gonna like twist the wrong way or something because like my hands are sweaty inside these. I don't know. It was a very interesting experience and something that I think I'm adjusting to slowly because we've done 4 live streams this weekend alone. We did the Insomniac Middlelands one. We did with Chill Nation. We did the room service one, which was awesome on YouTube. I do my own Sunday sessions every Sunday morning at like 10 a.m. from our Instagram. And then I did Luna Festival, which is like a yoga focused festival Sunday night. So I've done 4 of them now. Only one of them was from Insomniac's headquarters. The other 3 I do from my studio here, which luckily is this is like my music studio right now, but I have a whole front area that's like set up for live streaming right now. That's
Yeah,
like, so like we definitely have a cool setup here, which I'm lucky to have. But yeah, it's interesting getting into it. The Luna one was the Zoom festival, which I thought was really interesting. It was like smaller compared to the other ones, like the Insomniac one had like 20,000 people watching. Room service has like 10,000 people watching. The Zoom one is in a Zoom room, so I think it's limited to 100 people or whatever. But it was cool because I felt you feel more of like the direct energy from people through the Zoom one because it has all their screens. Like we're on Zoom right now. I saw all their screens and whoever's on their back end is switching through everybody, showing me them. So I see them and I can like talk on the microphone, like, yo, what's up? Like, one point, like one person had like a stuffed animal. I was like, yeah, who else has stuffed animals? And everyone brought out stuffed animals. They're dancing with their stuffed animals. So it's just like cool stuff like that. I don't know. It's like learning how to relate to people, I think, right now through this digital thing. Zoom, obviously, we're on this right now, and it's one of the best ways. And then on the bigger side, using things like Twitch and whatnot to like really get out there to a big audience. Yeah.
For sure, man. And you just mentioned it, like the proactiveness of the community and an artist. So you guys were slated and you kicked off your the Ace of You tour, right? And then this stuff kind of started happening and finding adjustments. So it seems like you guys have been doing your best to adjust, right? Just as you mentioned, 4 live streams in a weekend. You're doing your Sunday sessions, and how's the stay-at-home life just been?
I'm starting like right when things hit, I definitely took a couple of weeks where I was just like gathering things in my mind. I wasn't working on anything, and it was just like this moment of like turmoil going on and like uncertainty. So I took those couple of weeks, and then as I think I eased into it, I started thinking like, all right, what am I gonna do now? I've got to like keep staying active. I'm not playing shows, not playing any of the festivals this summer, which is like a bummer, obviously. But you know, live streaming I think was the most obvious way to get back into things. So I just kind of started getting back into it. And this was literally like 2 weeks ago, I started getting into the live streaming stuff. So maybe a little later than some of the other people, but since then, it's been really fun, I think. I like did a test run 2 weeks ago where I played like a daytime disco set. It was like on a Wednesday, and like had a bunch of people just tune on to Instagram for that one. And now I think as I'm like refining it, we have like a blue screen set up with cool visuals. For the room service one, I had I had KOLE, Kalina, and Jared Lee all record videos that I was able to sync up as I was playing. So like live. It was. I think a lot of people are questioning how I was doing that, and we have you can use Record Box Video, so like you can like have it synced already. Took their live audio, made a new track with it, and I'm able to play it back with the video at the same time. So it's actually them singing the song. It's not like I don't know. It was an interesting way to do things. So I'm trying to think of keeping things kind of interesting for fans.
Yeah, and that's a lot of work. A lot of work to be flipping through, and then we throw this visual on. But hey, man, you made it happen.
My 2 roommates here are both videographers and photographers, so like they're definitely a big help in terms of getting this stuff set.
Awesome. Can you talk about, so there are a lot of up and coming artists now, right? And people that are at home and they're like, well, I have all this time on my hands. I just dabble. I'm just having fun with it. But let's say if someone were to want to take it serious, and you talked about how even yourself, you worked so hard to get to the level you're at now, and you're continuing to grow. But you said you took a 2-week break, right? So maybe talk about that, because I feel like that whole work-life balance is something that artists haven't been able to discuss because they're always going to this festival and the next festival and the next festival. But you mentioned it, like you guys are human beings too. Like you got nervous before you're going to play Middlelands, and you have to take time off when necessary as well. Maybe speak to that, because I think that'll comfort a lot of up and coming artists who are at home right now.
Yeah, I do get into it where I don't take a break for a long time sometimes, and it's just like it's going. And then with the touring, it gets like that too. When you're doing a tour, it's just like nonstop, go. I was lucky enough this last tour, the Ace of You tour, we did every weekend. We flew somewhere, rented like a Sprinter van, drove those shows, and flew back. So I'd be back Monday nights usually. I'd have like then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to like chill out and work on other stuff at home, and then leave Thursday night or Friday morning. But I do think balancing, eating healthy on the road has been a big one for me. Like when I first started touring, like our rider was like pizza and stuff like that. And now it's like kombucha, avocados, fresh fruit, like stuff like that. I don't know. So I try to keep really healthy on the road now as well. And also something I've been trying to do more when we were touring was really explore the places I would go to. A lot of times you can't because you're like in and out. You're doing 4 shows that weekend. But when we went to Asia, I was in Bali. We had a show there. I stayed for 2 weeks there. It's so cheap to stay there anyway. So like it almost made sound like saving money kind of by staying there. But like just staying there and really exploring the culture of like the places you're in.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I've never been to Bali, but I spent a couple years in the Philippines and did some other traveled to Japan. So there's something about traveling, and I mean you guys would do that a lot when you're going to different festivals, but being able to stay and really immerse yourself in the culture, even if it's just for an extra day or two, there's something to say about that, and it kind of just connects you a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah, I remember there was this one festival we played in India where literally I flew in, took that long flight, flew in, played the show, literally had to go back to the hotel, pack up my stuff, and go back to the airport. I was there probably for like 12 hours in India.
Wow.
And stuff like that is just like, I'm like on an airplane more than I'm in the country. But, yeah.
So you mentioned diet, right? So no more pizza. Now it's avocado, kombucha, taking care of yourself. Why is diet, and personally, how do you feel that has made an impact on your life positively as a touring artist and just overall health wise?
Yeah, it doesn't bog you down like heavy foods, like, especially when you're on the road and like sometimes sleep, like getting full night's sleep is like, for me, like the best way to feel like the energy the next day and stuff. But on the road, you can't always do that. Like sometimes you have a show that ends at 2 a.m. and then we have to break everything down. So we're not out of the venue till 4 a.m. And then our flight the next day is at 8 a.m. That gives us like 4 hours to like relax in between,
Wow.
So like eating healthy has just been that way to like keep me on the go and make me feel as good as possible on the road.
Yeah, I feel that. Been vegan for like 6 months and like feel a big difference, but make sure that you're still eating, right? The starving veganism isn't that fun. That's what I was doing at first.
I've been doing a lot of vegan eating lately. I really enjoy it. Yeah, there's someone, yeah, a lot of vegan eating.
Yeah. So all right, this is the cool part, right? Right now you've worked so hard to get to the level you're at. But everyone loves the origin stories, right? What's the best thing, coolest thing about a superhero is how did they become that superhero, And we just say that lightly because, to your friends, to your homies, they're probably like, oh, that's just Mike. But, people watching at home, they see you on the big stage and just maybe talk about the origins. I mean, your past includes, you were a street artist, correct?
A little bit, yeah. So like my original background was in design, and I owned an art gallery in Chicago and a screen printing studio. And I got into everything in our basement. We just started kind of throwing these rave parties or whatever. And my friends were like, you should learn how to DJ. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll learn how to DJ. So like learned how to DJ, met Lewis, the other guy in the group, and we ended up throwing more undergrounds together and just DJing together. And I don't know, just kind of went from there. And my gallery ended up flooding out and I didn't have the proper insurance. So I kind of lost all that stuff. And it was time for me to take a new chapter, and started throwing like 2 weekly parties in Chicago and a monthly party, and then started working with the producers to make stuff and learning all that. And yeah, it just kind of went from there.
Word. How do you guys decide who's going to go on stage?
Right now, or
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah, just like in general, because obviously that I feel like that's something that we just like talking about. Well, what's that experience like? Do you guys before know? All right, you'll take over here, or you just kind of feel it out?
Well, I guess there's 2 types of sets we do. There's like just straight DJ sets, and then there's kind of this hybrid set we do. For the hybrid set, everything is pretty planned out. We're playing keyboards and with samplers up there, and we're even running our own visuals through Ableton and syncing that up with Resolution. So there's a lot of components in that hybrid show, so it's planned out. With the DJ sets, it's kind of, yeah, just like, let's play some tracks, mix back and forth. Oh, you got something good coming up next? Or like, oh, I got a good track I can play right now.
That's awesome. I feel like that keeps it fun, right? Because one of the things is just keeping it fun. So you guys have, you'll experiment. Talk about that. Like, I know we joked around about bringing sexy back to EDM, but you guys did kind of transcend in a few ways. The first way is through the wave of music. Talk about how to get to that stage, how you guys found your sound, and what the experimenting phase was like. And it's probably still going on today, right?
Yeah, I mean, prior to this, I had other projects that, I was doing different types of music and stuff. And then when we formed Autograf, we kicked things off. We were at this Cyril Hahn show. My other group was touring, and we were in, I think, like Toronto or Montreal or something, and Cyril Hahn was playing. I went to the show, and I was like, man, the show is like really cool. It's like chill. The vibes are cool. I really like it. Then we started working on this remix. It was like not even like it was like a flip of Magic Stick, where we kind of sampled it and pitched it down really low. It was the first like thing we put out. So we had that song we were working on, and then we were like, we want to do this party that's like really cool. And this is like right when Boiler Room was like kicking off also. Yeah. I think like there maybe in a couple of years, but we're gonna do like the stage or we're gonna do the DJ booth in the dance floor, and on the stage we're gonna build all these art installations, because I really love art. It's like my background. So we did this like Warhol themed factory party where built this giant like 8-foot tall soup can that weighs like 400 or 500 pounds. Had all these like other crazy installations, had a bunch of our other artist friends build stuff for it. So it was like this whole immersive experience, and we really wanted it to be something that you came into, you're like, wow, this is cool. And then the DJ's playing like right down on the floor and like kind of all vibing together. So that's how we kind of kicked that stuff off, and really just we did a lot of remixes early on, like unofficial like flips of like songs like Marvin Gaye and stuff like that. Just songs that we thought had a lot of soul to them already, but weren't made for the dance floor. And we kind of like wanted to flip them into like these dance songs. Did that for a while. And then Dream being the first original track we put out. And that was already like 2 years into Autograf, I think, that we put Dream out. So we were just like doing our thing, putting out remixes. A lot of like, there's this website, I think it's still around, Hype Machine is this website where like it kind of like ranks songs and like people can vote on them and stuff. We were like really into that website. And SoundCloud was like really blowing up at that time. So there's like a lot of things for the remix world going on, I think, at that point that maybe isn't going on as much with Spotify, kind of like not allowing you to put out bootlegs right now. And then put out Dream, and yeah, just like was this song that really spoke to us and like kind of talked about, it was like we found that vocal and it really like felt like, oh man, this really speaks to us about our passion for everything and like this journey we're on, and we put that out and it did really well and kind of like
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. That actually, it's funny you brought up Warhol. So that's what like drew me into you guys at first. Literally, my mom would take me to a Museum of Contemporary Art when she's like, the Warhols are here, and she worked for the Museum of Contemporary Art in downtown, and she would take me, and I remember seeing like these soup, and then so when you guys did like Future Soup EP, I was like, man, that looks like Warhol, and I just clicked, and then that was it, man, that was it. And so good stuff. Talk about that. Talk about the other innovation. And this is really cool, really inspiring how you guys were able to create your own art installations, right? So you infused your backgrounds to create essentially your own stages, right?
Yeah. So with all our tours, they've always kind of been different themes, like, and we've always pretty much built those stage productions ourselves. Sometimes with the help of like an LD or something, but for the most part, like we've welded stuff together for those shows. We've like built crazy installations, and then we got to figure out how to pack it all down so we can fly with it. It's like a really hard, because we really we're very grassroots in that sense of like building everything ourselves, I guess, and wanting it to be a certain way. And we don't hire out like big production companies, but it's also a lot of fun for me. Like it gives you like something else to work on. Like I think if it was just like music 24/7, and I would start to burn out on it. So it'd be until I take a step back and then like, I'm going to work on like this art installation or visual aspect of the show, or I do all like the cover art for our songs. I'm going to work on that right now. It's just like keeping things fresh for myself,
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's probably the key, right? As an artist, as a creative, pushing out, and you have all this creative energy, but just make sure to that takes some self-awareness, right? Because same here, I'll push myself super duper hard, and then they're like, oh, I'm in burnout mode. But finding other ways that are kind of like, I guess you could call it active recovery. So you're recovering and you're still making progress and feeling good about it. So, so quick question. Let's see here. Yeah. So during these times, kind of maybe just shed some words of positivity on the community, because we mentioned that the electronic community, they were the first to respond in such a great way with live streams and whatnot. Is there anything else, any cool things that you've seen that creators are doing, and not just a music producer, but it could be just artists in general?
Yeah, I mean, because we're all stuck at home right now, we are trying to think of ways to touch people digitally, you know? So I think with a lot of artists, just creating music and art that has to do with the current situation of everything, be it through live streams, be it through making actual music, be it through like making visual art, just finding a way to connect with people digitally right now. It's really important.
Yeah, for sure. So what was like the mindset, you know, and this is real life stuff, like the mindset of you guys started your tour, you know, the Ace of You, and then like 2 weeks into it, right? Was it kind of talk about that 2 weeks into it was like, hey guys, we have to pause everything, or what goes into, you know, you guys were super hyped going into it, and then this happened. So maybe just take us through that process so that we could just.
Yeah, we actually got through quite a bit of the tour, luckily. We only really missed out on the last couple weeks of the tour. So we played most of the shows. We did miss out on a couple last weeks. And then there was actually a whole second Asia tour that was planned around the ACU that we were going to go do an Asia tour, a bunch of dates out there that all got canceled that we didn't even announce. But it was one of those things where like once like back in, I think like January, February, when stuff was kind of just starting up in China, like, oh, is this going to come to America, or like what's going to happen with all this? Our managers and agents were kind of like watching things and like seeing how things are doing, and it was like a worrisome thing of like what's going to happen. And then once all of a sudden it kind of like, it was like weird. It was like all in one weekend. I feel like America all of a sudden just got hit, and like it was all over the news, and like it was like, all right, this is like, we got to cut our tour. Everything got canceled. I think it was like the week before we were supposed to go to like, or 2 weeks before we were supposed to go to like Winter Music Conference for all that stuff. And like I remember like at one point they were like, oh yeah, Winter Music Conference is still going on. And it's like, and I was like, and then like a couple, like every day it was like, well, actually Ultra's canceled now, but the hotel parties are still good to go. And then like the next day it's like, well, actually the hotel parties are all canceled. Like every day it was like a new cancellation, and yeah, it was a little nerve wracking right there in the beginning.
Yeah, man, it's tough, right? And that's kind of like what made us kick these podcasts off, because we're like everyone from the community, and we all are super excited to go to not just shows, but the festival experience and attend and be around everyone's energy. And right now with this happening, just trying to keep the vibes up and do that. I mean, that's just really awesome that you guys did 4 live streams pretty much in one weekend. That's a good way to give back.
Yeah.
So.
Trying to do it next week, and I think we have 2 or 3 of them. So every weekend I'm gonna try to do as many as possible. And
Nice.
even try to do like some of this, like obviously a lot of the ones we did this weekend were bigger, but even the smaller ones where it's like you and like 50 people or whatever, those are really fun too, because it is a little bit more of a personal connection.
Yeah.
Maybe crash some other people's Zoom parties. I saw some other DJs doing that. Our buddies Loud Luxury, they had like posted like, oh, we're gonna like crash some Zoom parties, send us your Zoom links. I thought that was really cool, where they're just like jumping into other people's Zoom parties and like hanging out. So there's some cool stuff to be done right now.
Yeah, and that's it, right? We're all creatives. We just gotta, you know, just tap in and still find a way to make things happen, and we're doing that. And you talked about like the whole personal connection with your audience. I think that's one thing that when I first started listening to you guys and hear about you guys, that separated you, because I had a friend that she entered a contest that you guys had, and it was like dinner with Autograf, and she won. And then she like went to dinner with you guys before. It was like before an exchange show. I don't know if you guys were opening up for Tycho or something a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, and I was like, man, that's cool. So talk about that. Why it's important for you guys not to just, you know, put a track out there and then not get a response, but you guys are active, like Facebook and whatnot. You can see like almost every other day you're posting something.
But yeah, it's good to hear, because I feel like we don't post enough, and we're not as active on social media as we should be. And I'm trying to change that right now, especially since, because like I think you get caught up in touring, it's like hard to stay active on social media. And we're trying to do that more now. Oh, about connecting with fans. Yeah. So yeah, with like shows, sometimes like there's a connection when you're on stage and you're playing music for people and like you're feeling their energy and they're feeling your energy and there's this back and forth, but you don't really get to know those people in the audience. And like we do try to like afterwards like do some meet and greets and like hang out with people, but it's still like an environment where like you have bouncers being like, yo, we gotta like clear out right now and stuff. So doing the little like pre-show stuff where we would do like dinner, or like I think we did like bowling for some of them. We did, our friend does this thing called deep house yoga. We did like a deep house yoga thing before one of them. Just cool stuff like that where you really get to like hang out with people for like an hour or two and get to know them.
Most def, most def. So talk about that. I mean, and it's like it's funny because talk about not being able to maybe respond to everyone that reaches out or respond. Because I feel like as an artist in the beginning too, and you're like, I'm gonna do it different. I'm gonna connect with everyone. I'm gonna respond to every message. And then here you go, you find yourself like touring this place and this place, and you're like, dude, like there's just so many messages. So maybe talk about that, because we don't want like, just because it's someone that supports your music or your group and they're at home and they're like, man, I met them once and then I responded and try to hit them up again and they just never responded. So that they're not taking it personal like that.
Yeah, I mean it is hard, and like with so many people hitting you up, like you do lose track of who people are, and like sometimes people ask you to do things or like you forget about it. Especially like people send me music, and I try to check out all the music people send us on Instagram. They're like, "Yo, can you check out this track?" And I'll try to check it out, but sometimes I don't respond about it. And it's just like there's so much going on that like I like listen to it maybe like while I was driving or something, and I'm not going to respond while I'm driving, obviously. So I do try to like check everything out and people send us, and I do try to respond to everybody when I can. Like sometimes when we're on tour and I get back and there's been like a long weekend of shows, I'll spend that like Monday or Tuesday just like going through messages and trying to respond to everybody. But yeah, it does get hard sometimes, and it's not that like there's a lot of love for everybody out there. It's just like a time management thing, I guess. And
Yeah, for sure. It's that.
If I don't respond to you, just message me again, and like it'll pop up to the top of the feed, and like I'll try to get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's that relationship, because those are also the people that end up supporting. So it's just being able to manage the two, and understanding from both sides, right? Like they're trying to hit me up, but then I have to create, so just everyone understanding each other. And yeah, so all right, man. Well, what's your break time like now? Like you just mentioned you're working really hard. What are you guys up to? What's the future looking like? And then how do you de-stress for a little bit and then you just get back into it? What's like a typical day in the life kind of like?
Right now, it's what it is. I mean, I wake up. I live here in this like I live in the studio, so we have like this big space here. I live here, so I wake up here, kick it off with some coffee and like a protein shake or something like that, and just kind of like get in the mindset. And then usually I'll just start working on some of like I've like rearranged my front area every day, I think, for different things.
Yeah.
It's like this little rearranging thing every day, like trying to figure out the best way to arrange things for the live streams and stuff. Work on that for a while. Just kind of get lost in it. I like enjoy it right now because it is new to me right now. So I think I really, really enjoy doing it right now. So it's easy to get lost in it. But then just like hanging out with friends on Zoom, stuff like that, I guess. Just trying to do that kind of stuff.
Finding that inspiration in so many ways. And usually music festivals for a lot of creatives, that's where we find our inspiration. So maybe talk about that. What do music festivals mean to you guys, to you personally? And
Yeah, there's definitely been certain festivals that have spoken like really deeply to me, and like I felt such a connection with. Electric Forest is one of those. It was one of the very first festivals we played, and the first time we played it, we played like kind of where like that shopping area is in the middle. We played Electric Forest a couple times now. The first time though, it was just like I was so excited to go there. It's actually my first time at Electric Forest. I've never been to Electric Forest before that either.
Yeah.
And it was just this amazing experience, and so many people we got to vibe out with there and stuff. And then when we came back and played Electric Forest 2 years later, we played a live hybrid show on like one of the bigger stages. But we did this like DJ set inside one of like the little like installation villages or whatever they kind of have there. And we were supposed to play for an hour, and whoever else was supposed to play after us like never showed up or whatever. So we just kept playing, and we played for like 2.5 hours, I think. Everyone was just like, it was cool. It was like you had like maybe a couple hundred people just jamming out in like this little like packed out little like area. And even to this day, a lot of people will come up to me and be like, yeah, like that was like so much fun. You guys just kept going, and like we were really digging those vibes. So that festival was one. I played this place, Envision Festival in Costa Rica, which was amazing.
Yes.
One of my favorite festivals I've ever done. It's just like very enlightening. Um, I go out to Thailand a lot. I used to actually own an art gallery in Thailand as well. And I have like one of my best friends lives out there, so we go out there a lot, and we threw like some festivals out there. Those are always like a lot of fun for me. Some of the bigger ones, like just like like Coachella was just like one of those things where it's like huge, like man, we like made it, did this Coachella thing. EDC was one of those as well. So just like getting to do some of those like major festivals always mean a lot. When we played Coachella, we did the after, like a secret set on Sunday for the Do Lab. They do like
Yes. Yep.
that was so much fun. Doing some like secret B2B sets, those are always really fun. And just, I don't know, there's so many cool experiences at festivals to be had. And there's so many places I really want to do Burning Man. I've never gone. That's one of like the another like things that, man, I gotta go to Burning Man. But I want to go and like really experience it. Like we've had some opportunities to go, but it was like, oh, you just like come in and like leave because of other shows and stuff. Like now if I go, I want to like spend like a solid like at least week, really experience it in camp and like hang out with people. So yeah, just all sorts of festivals, just like the connections you make there, and it's just amazing. Yeah,
That's cool. And it's cool that you mentioned like, you know, of course, performing at the festivals, that's a dream come true. But then if you're ever able to, you're like, hey, I want to explore. I want to be part of the other side, right? And just kind of be able to just be around people and walk around and experience what other installations are here, right?
yeah, exactly.
And Envision Fest, you mentioned it. I feel like Envision is super cool. I've heard so many things about it. I was actually in Costa Rica the same time as the festival was going on. And it's just cool because like you got the yoga aspect, you got wildlife everywhere, you know, and people are super conscious of the trail they leave behind, right? Super clean festival. And one of the things we're trying to do right now is, since we're all at home, like figure out how we can all elevate our level of collective consciousness, you know, so that when we're back out there at these festivals, we are, number one, super grateful and appreciative of being there. And number two, we're showing that by, you know, just if we see somebody that is wearing something dope, giving them a compliment. Hey, that's a dope hat. Or if you see somebody, you know, sitting down and maybe they don't feel that great, talking to them and saying, hey, how are you? Or just making sure that you're throwing away your trash, right? So
Yeah, the leave no trace thing is when festivals do that and people are like actively working towards that is amazing.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, man, this has been great. What do you kind of have to say about the future of music festivals in general? I mean, I know it's a little up in the air right now, but I feel like there's so many people that care about this community that we're gonna find our way through it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know they say like Coachella's postponed until like the fall or whatever. I really don't think there's going to be festivals this year. I think they're going to kick off next year. That's my personal opinion. Um, but I think when they do kick off next year, people are going to be so into it and like ready to go back out there. And you know, I think it's going to take a little while, like over this winter time, people to feel safe again to be back in crowds, which gives us enough time for like when next summer hits, people finally feel comfortable being back in those large crowds and like being able to experience those types of things again.
Exactly, exactly. We're gonna be out there, you know, sooner or later. You know, enough people care about it. We're gonna be out there. And real quick, what are some things that spark your inspiration? As you mentioned, like you're at home right now, you're creating constantly. What charges you up? Is it something that you see? Is it being around people? Is it a mixture of everything?
Yeah, I mean, working with other people really inspires me. I am lucky enough to live somewhere with two other people that are also like creatives and stuff, and we work together on a lot of things, so that inspires me a lot. Sometimes when I'm not feeling creative in either the visual or like I go for the opposite. So if I'm not feeling creative visually, I'll listen to music. And if I'm not feeling creative, like in terms of like music stuff, I'll go like look on like Pinterest at like I have like a lot of boards on Pinterest where I like just cool art and stuff and kind of try to pull inspiration from those. So kind of try to inspire music with art and art with music.
That's awesome. There it is. That's that relationship. And yeah, being around people. So even if you're not able to physically be around someone right now, the Zoom meetings, crash one, kick one off,
Yeah.
right? How can we support, right? So how can we support you guys? How can we support other artists during these times? I mean, is it as simple as going to Instagram or social media and just saying, hey, thank you, or liking a track or sharing a track. Because I know right now there's the live streams, and some of them are donation based. But how can we support each other within the community right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many ways, like as simple as like people don't realize, but like just the awareness, like of like when you are showing your awareness of that artist on something like Instagram and you're commenting and following them and liking their stuff. At the end of the day, like festivals do look at that stuff, in terms of your following. Sharing music, I think that's the biggest one. Like if you like my track, share it to someone that maybe hasn't heard that track. And Spotify does pay us. I mean, it's not a lot, but like there is money there. Like that does help. Merch, buying merch, that's a big one. Like right now there you can't buy tickets, so like maybe if you're gonna go to a show and now you can't go to that show, go buy some merch and tune into one of like the online festivals and rock that merch at the online festival.
Exactly.
There's the donation ones as well. I think a lot of those are going towards causes for the most part, but I guess there are people that are taking donations that are struggling. So yeah, donate on Twitch or whatever if that is what people are doing. And
yeah, it's I mean, we just gotta find ways, and as you mentioned, it could just be sharing the music. We're actually, we have a couple surprises in store. We're pushing out an online marketplace for festival goers, so it's kind of like a festival flea market, because a lot of people depend on the festival season to go and sell merch and whether it's handcrafted or their own brand. So Festiie it's coming soon, man. So I'd love to share some swag, autograph swag on the website, and just keep the vibes going. So awesome. Cool, man. Well, thanks for joining us, Festiie Files. We have one last question. It's a little extended question, but as I mentioned, your journey, it's inspired a lot of people. Your music inspires a lot of people. Your art installation inspires a lot of people to say like, yeah, I want to complement the music with more, right? And all these things have transpired, equating to your journey. Did you think this was going to happen? I mean, just, or how do these things transpire, and what kind of message do you give to other artists that, are sitting at home right now that want to make things happen? Because shoot, man, some of this stuff, maybe you can dream up, maybe it just came to fruition, but talk about that.
yeah, I mean, for me, particularly, like this was never what I thought I would be doing. I didn't pursue this as a career or anything like that. I know there's a lot of awesome people who like go to like production school and like they want to get into producing, they want to become like a DJ and like go to that. For me, it wasn't that. It was like my background was more in the art and design aspect of things, and I was doing that. And I thought I would go on to like work in advertising design or have my gallery, have my printing studio and stuff like that. And just things happened in such a way where this is the journey I was brought on. And for me, one of the things that has really inspired me has been the journey of like not knowing what's next. And I think for some people, like they have a hit song and like also they're a huge artist. For us, it wasn't like that. It was really like a really slow build of like, we're releasing music, we're playing shows, we're building that fan base. And it wasn't like one day we released a track that got like 100 million plays on Spotify, and all of a sudden we're like a huge touring act. It was really this like long journey for us, and that journey has inspired me to want to keep going and like see what's next on this journey. And I really enjoy that aspect of life, is the journey.
Awesome. That's it. It's all about the journey, and we're all in this journey together. We would love to continue to support. So what are like the social media handles so that we can tune into the next live stream and even watch the previous ones?
Yeah, I mean, just I'd say Instagram, go there at Autograf Music, Autograf with an F. And from there, I like in our stories and stuff, we'll post out stuff like where everything is, or you can look where in our posts, there'll definitely be like flyers for all the online festivals and stuff. So it's probably the easiest place to go.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing your story. As we mentioned, Autograf, they have a new track called Space featuring KOLE. You guys also that's an amazing track. And you previewed another track. I think it's called Real.
Like 4 unreleased tracks in that set.
Yeah, I was like, hold on.
We have an album that's like pretty like done right now. It's a 10-track album called The Ace of You, and 3 of those songs are out: Ain't Deep Enough with Jared Lee, Easy with Papa Ya, and then Space with KOLE. And there are 7 more tracks that are ready to be put out. We're going to release 2 more singles and then drop the full 10-track album probably in the fall. So
that's epic. That's what our artists are also doing, right? Like if you're able to hop on, but if you're able to just create and get that album out that you haven't had the time to allocate because of the touring, right?
For people that are at home and like wanting to know what to do next, I'd say this is an opportunity where like you do have more free time, so like you have the time to like work on your creative endeavor. So you should be focusing on that stuff if you can.
For sure, for sure. And it, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether all various forms.
It's like
Um,
starting a business, like for a lot of people, this is a good time to like if you want to start a business and you have an idea in your head, start planning for like when things reopen, like how to launch that business.
exactly, exactly.
It doesn't have to be in like an art or music field even. It's just like anything you want to do in life. Right now is your time to plan for the future, I think.
Yeah, and enjoy the journey, right? I mean, literally, it's funny when we started this company, we thought like at first we were wet behind the ears, thinking like 4 months from now we're gonna be everywhere, and then here we are, like 4 years later, like all right, we're still making progress, and it's great, but it's just like okay, rather than set expectations, just try things, work really hard towards them, and then learn, right? And then collectively you end up with this journey, and you're like, oh, come pretty far, right?
Yeah.
And just want to say thank you again. You played Avicii, you mixed in Avicii, and anytime someone mixes in Avicii during a set, it's like maybe just spread a couple words, because the vibes and his influence on music, it's going to be felt forever.
Yeah. No, like when we did it, that's a remix we did for him when he was still alive. And like when he reached out for us to do that remix, it was such an honor. And really liked putting a spin on that song.
Awesome. All right, well, there it is, everyone. Festiie Files podcast. We're signing out. Shouts out to Mikul Wing from Autograf. You guys can find them at Autograf with an F music on Instagram. Everyone, peace, love, unity, and respect. My name is Desmond Beristain. Festiie Files signing out.